Right then, while the rumours are rife about who is just going to be United's manager next season, I thought we could take a look at what a potential United 11 could actually look like next season. Youngsters coming back, players moving on, some players need dropping. Let's get into it. Now, you got to keep it real, you got to keep it realistic, and there's a couple of disappointing players in this starting 11, I'll be honest with you. And we start right at the back there. We start with David De Gea, and I think he stays in the mixer. Now, I can definitely see an argument for people saying, I actually think a new manager might prefer Dean Henderson. I can, and I can agree with you on a lot of those aspects. But I think the shot-stopping ability that he has, plus the astronomical wage that he's on, is going to make it very difficult to move him on. I think it's just easier to deal with some of the other problems in the team first and then come round to De Gea. I would say, do you know what? Just don't offer him an extension and try and line someone up for then. But for next season, you've got him. You might as well play him. I also don't think Dean Henderson's willing to stick around to maybe see if he gets an opportunity to play and see if he can take De Gea's spot off him. He's had that opportunity the last few years. He's done all right, but he hasn't taken it off De Gea. So I would say De Gea is probably going to be United's number one next season. In the centre-half, I think the only one that's guaranteed is Varane. And even he's only 50% availability. He hasn't really set the world alight since joining United. This is depressing, isn't it? He's not really set the world alight since he joined United, but we have seen glimpses of his quality. In a more structured system, I think you get more out of Rafa Varane, and he should be able to reach the heights that we saw him reaching with both his national team and with Real Madrid. Now, his partner, probably going to be Maguire, right? I know. The other one that we might see is Araujo. Or Araujo. And let's get into that. So, loads of people, myself included, hold the opinion that Maguire's not been good enough to be a starter for United this season. The people arguing against that are not very vocal, and there ain't very many of them. However, it's also hard to argue Lindelof has completely taken his spot, because he hasn't. And you can't tell me that Eric Bailly has done the same, because the guy's made of cardboard. He is the club captain. To oust him from the side is a big political maneuver. To sell him would probably be easier, but it's not going to be easy to find someone willing to take a punt on the wages and the transfer fee that United would need to recoup. If he does get replaced, there's some talk that Barcelona centre-half Ronald Araujo is going to be available for apparently $5 million. Now, this is how easy it is. Now, that's one centre-half, and I've gone with someone that's very, very cheap just to throw in the mix. And the other thing is, Rafael Varane's injury proneness means you're going to need multiple centre-halves in the mix anyway. Yes, I'd like to see Bernardo Mengi thrown into the mixer, but being very realistic, we need something with more experience. I could see Lindelof or Maguire being the third choice centre-half, but who's the second choice centre-half? That's the big question for me, and we're going to have a lot of this as we go through the squad, so don't expect next season to be a title charge. Far from it. Right then, this video is sponsored, and actually this is an awesome sponsor for this sort of video, and I think you guys are going to absolutely love this game as well. And if you're serious about testing out your managerial skills, then you've got to check this game out. And it's Top 11. It's a free-to-play football management game that's available on iOS, on Android, and also in your web browser as well. So anyone can play this anywhere whatsoever. As a manager in Top 11, you're in charge of every single aspect of your club. You can sign players, you can run training, you can set up your formations, you can lead your squad to glory, you can win trophies, and obviously that's just a part of the experience of managing in the game. If you think you got what it takes to try and save United's season, to try and actually see if we can get some silverware this year, then put yourself to the test with Top 11. If you can play against other managers from around the world, there's 4 competitions happening in every single Top 11 season. You got League, you got the Cup, you got the Champions League, and then controversially, you've got the Super League. And there's also loads of different ways that you can play with your friends. You can team up, you can form an association. No, not the Super League. And you can play against other groups and managers from all around the world. You can set up and play a friendly championship, form a league with your friends. You can do it with everyone at work, which we're going to do in here. We're going to see how good Ronaldo truly is. And there's something for every single football fan with Top 11 as well. You can customize the ground, you can collect your jerseys, you can collect emblems, you can do all that sort of stuff. They even just introduced 3D matches. It's awesome. It's allowing you to get closer to your squad than ever before. The 3D live match engine was one of the biggest Top 11 community requests in the game's history, and it's arrived. With 3D live matches, you'll be able to see your tactics come to life with beautiful animation, player details giving you more info to help bring your team to the top. The new experience is immersive. It's exciting. It makes you feel like you're an actual football manager, and to celebrate the release of the 3D live match, Top 11 has got lots of exciting events and giveaways planned for this season and those ahead. What are you waiting for? Go get in the mix. Go try it out. See what it's all about. It's available on the Google Play Store, the iOS App Store. It's available for your browsers. Link is in the description. Download it and start competing with managers and see if you're better than me and see if you're better than how United have got on this year. Fullbacks. Jesus, this is going to get fun. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Let's go left first. Who do I think left back will be? Luke Shaw and Telles. Now, again, not good enough, either of them. Telles probably slightly ahead of Luke Shaw. But the chances of United replacing both fullbacks, both left backs, sorry, let alone both fullbacks, it's just not going to happen. So look forward to seeing both of them two in a United shirt next season. Maybe one of them can go, replacing the pair of them with another left back. Just not going to happen. No, don't even think about it. The right back position is probably more of a priority. These two are just a little bit meh, but they're not, horrendous. So I don't think that they're going to be seen as a priority. There might be something to deal with at a later date. Right then, right back. I actually think there's a couple of bargains that United could have. Someone's going to kick off with these. I think Giovanni Di Lorenzo is an opportunity for United. Clear upgrade on Wan-Bissaka, clear upgrade on Dalot. You could probably get him for a reasonable price. Definitely improves us from a defensive point of view. Maybe someone like Matty Cash. Cheap. Backup option. But realistically, I want to see Ethan Laird given this opportunity. Ethan Laird, for me, needs to be the backup right back. I think you're going to struggle to get rid of Wan-Bissaka and Dalot in one window. Dalot might have a bit more appeal because he's already travelled and he's already proven himself in other leagues. Wan-Bissaka, I don't know who's coming in and taking him off your hands. If that's the case, us spending big for another right back is probably not going to happen, and that's why I think Di Lorenzo's a likely candidate. It's not going to be a £50 million signing that's playing right back for us. I'm almost certain of that. But it's an option for us and allow someone like Ethan Laird to see what he can do. Centre mid. Now, here's the big ones, right? If it is Ten Hag and it is a 4-3-3 that he wants to set up in, arguably the most important position for us to bring someone in is defensive midfield. I've done, I think, so far 3 videos, and I've probably got about another 15 to do on possible number 6s, and one that I haven't really mentioned is Declan Rice. But we're just throwing options out there, aren't we? I'm not tied to any of these. There's so many players that you'd like. I've given you different options there at centre-half than I've given previously. I've given a different option there at right-back as I have done previously. This isn't covering bases. This is showing you the amount of options that are out there. There's so many different options that are out there to improve United. Now, for me, Rice, I think he's a United transfer waiting to happen. I'm not happy with the price, but I do envisage United spunking a right load of money on one big star signing so they can make a massive deal out of it. And Declan Rice and seemingly Harry Kane fit that bill. Now, if I had to choose between signing Declan Rice for 80 or Harry Kane for 100, I'm signing Declan Rice and I'm proper happy about it. Loves United, from what I can gather. Drops hints almost every 5 minutes, it feels like. Supposedly a big presence in the dressing room with West Ham and with England. Supposedly a real good character, captain material, someone that holds standards, someone very vocal. And that's the sort of character I think United need to sign. It seems like a signing the board would make, even if I think there's probably higher level players around. But I think he'd also be, here's the thing. I've mentioned this phrase a few times lately. Players need to see it as a step up and a challenge to come and play for your club. If they feel like they're doing you a favour, they're not going to work for you. And I think Declan Rice would see coming to United as a challenge, and that's a good thing. And I also think he could be tempted to stay here for the rest of his career, very much like Rio did once he arrived here. He would be expensive, but I think that the Glazers don't mind it for young English talent for whatever reason. They did it with Maguire, they did it with Wan-Bissaka, they've done it with Sancho. I see a massive pattern here that they'll continue to do it for young English talent. So that's, for one of the reasons why I could see Rice happening to United. Alongside him, it'll be McTominay or Fred, providing a little bit of energy and a little bit of a box-to-box. It will. You're not getting both. Let's be honest. Come on, man. If we're buying other players, we're not getting both of them, are we? So it's one of those two. And I think you can look to one of them being replaced the next summer. I don't think he's good enough to be starting for United. I don't think Fred's good enough to be starting for United. But as backup players, they're not terrible. This might also mean that you get the opportunity for James Garner to be given an opportunity, or even Hannibal Mabry to be given an opportunity for a year at least, before the club actually go and bite the bullet and probably spend 50, 60, 70 million on a new signing. It also means someone like Donny van de Beek could be given an opportunity to be the sort of box-to-box midfielder, although I think he lacks the energy for that. It's an option. The other midfielder, Bruno Fernandes, probably our best player. If you can get him to properly adapt to being a midfielder and rather than a shadow striker, I think you've got a real asset there. He's a big stat player, but I also think that the fact that he's created the most chances in the Premier League isn't something to be sniffed at, and that's in a poor United team that isn't really functioning very well. If you get us to function a little bit better and you have a more consistent forward line, he will look like a superstar. He's probably United's best player. You have to build a system that's going to make him deliver. Wingers, I think it'll be Sancho. One of the only players in the squad that you could say is playing well at the moment. In spite of arguments for whether or not he's lived up to the £70 million price tag, we've seen some of the qualities of why he went for so much money this season. He's looked great. He's clearly got world-class potential. He's not quite there yet, but he's playing very, very well. And I think he would be the first choice winger for United next season. I'm almost certain Marcus Rashford goes back to playing on the left once Sancho has adapted. And I think if he goes back and shows his potential, United have got something akin to a deadly forward line. If they don't bring in Marcus Rashford, or Marcus doesn't hit those heights, someone like a Moussa Diaby, young, very pacey, skillful, had a very good season, 25 goals and assists at Leverkusen in 35 games, only 22. He'd be a great counterbalance, a bit more direct than what Jaden's offering you. Jaden's a little bit more in between the lines. Moosa's going to want to get in the mixer. Probably wouldn't have to break the bank for him. Wouldn't be cheap, but wouldn't be a blockbuster signing, and could actually deliver goals and assists for United. The Bundesliga crossover, as we've seen so many times, doesn't really cross over the same, so I wouldn't be expecting the level of goals and assists that he's managed to pull out in Bundesliga, but there's goals and assists there, I think. And then as a striker, this depends on whether Everton stay up, and I think they're actually probably going to be okay. But if they go down, United could do a lot worse. They're talking about Tammy Abraham. I don't mind Tammy Abraham, but I don't think he's first choice signing. And even though he's having a good season, I actually don't think he's quite on the level of Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin's having an awful season. But again, I think it's a one-season thing. He's been injured this season. He's lacked sharpness on his return. But if they go down, he will go to a big club. And I think you could get him cheap, and I think it'd be worth the punt. He's Premier League proven, 21 goals in 33 games last season. Young player, part of the England setup. Seems to be a player that the board would probably go for. And if they do go down, which is likely, I think, if not nailed on, he would be cheap. And I think he's the difference He's a very different build and style than Sancho, than Rashford, than Diaby, and than anything else that we've got at the club, including Greenwood, if he does manage to sort out his personal problems and be found not guilty and actually come back and play for the club. There's a lot of options there, but no one's quite like Calvert-Lewin in terms of what they offer to the team. And I think that's probably why one of the reasons that United are looking at someone like Tammy Abraham. It's not about the raw ability of the player, it's about the raw attributes of the player. Big target man, someone that you can get crosses into, someone that can put the opposition under pressure, someone that can be physical and dominate a team. United need that. United have lacked that. Need more of that. So that's what I reckon. Don't crucify me. I know it's not a dream 11. I think it's a realistic 11. Get me in the comments and fucking tear it apart, I guess. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.